Hello, my name is Kate. I'm also known as the Daily Tarot Girl, and welcome to your monthly tarot forecast. So in this video, I am going to be peering into the month of September with my tarot cards, and I'm going to highlight some of the key themes and energies that may be on the horizon for us this month in September. This isn't really meant to be a predictive reading. It's more about tapping into what kinds of tools and things are going to be most helpful for us as we move through the month of September. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a like, leave a comment, share this video, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Okay, so for this monthly forecast reading, I'm going to be using the giant Rider Waite Tarot, and I'm going to start this reading out in a way that I have never started a reading before. So this is totally new to me. So I was sort of guided to focus on the number 9 in this reading because September is the 9th month. And the year that we're in, 2025, if you add up all those numbers in 2025, you get 9. And if you add 9 and 9 together, you get 18. And if you add that number together, 1 plus 8, you get 9 again. So I'm going to start this reading off by looking at all the 9s in the tarot deck. So the Hermit, which is number 9 in the Major Arcana, and then the 4 Minor Arcana cards that are number 9. So I'm going to start by doing that, and then I'm going to randomly pull some cards. So I just really felt intuitively guided to start the reading this way because I feel like that number 9 and all the cards represented by the number 9 are really going to figure prominently in this month in September. All right, so the first card I'm going to start with is the Hermit. This is a Major Arcana card, and so the Hermit is all about introspection and moving inward and really prioritizing the relationship you have with yourself, particularly your more spiritual side or your inner wisdom and your relationship that you have to your higher self, your spirit guides, or just like your inner self, your inner wisdom. So it's about having that interior life. And the sense I get with the Hermit, I don't feel like the Hermit is the main theme of September because I don't feel like for most of us September is going to be this super introverted month. Normally, if I got this card randomly to represent a month, I might say that, you know, the month was all about kind of not isolating yourself, but like carving out a lot of alone time and turning inward. I feel like the message of the Hermit for the month of September is that no real meaningful progress can be made if we don't make time to move inward. So this isn't about spending the whole month of September going, you know, being like a monk and just being, you know, alone and meditating the whole time. But it means making time to do this throughout the month. And it could be in a very small way. So maybe you make time once a week to kind of check in with yourself, maybe do some meditation or journaling, whatever it looks like for you. Or it might be a daily practice. It's not so much the frequency or the duration of how much time you spend going inward, but the fact that you're doing it consistently on a regular basis. This is going to be so important for the month of September because there is certain messages, wisdom, ideas, epiphanies that can only be had if you carve out this alone time for yourself where you can move inward. Now, this is all about nurturing the relationship that you have with yourself and making time for this. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. It can just be a little bit here and there. And why this is so important is that the insights, the epiphanies, the ideas that you have when you're in this state, you're going to take that and bring it back into the world. And that is what is going to be so important in the month of September. So again, no real meaningful progress is going to be made in your life if you don't make time to do this. So this is a really important ingredient this month. I mean, it's important all the time, but especially in the month of September. Okay, so let's move into the minor arcana cards now. And we're gonna start by having a look at this card. So this is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles, the message of the Nine of Pentacles for us this month is to prioritize leisure time. So this kind of sounds a little bit similar to what I said with the Hermit. The Hermit was about prioritizing your relationship with yourself, carving out some alone time to go inward. Whereas the Nine of Pentacles is just making time for leisure, where you aren't necessarily doing anything or trying to do anything. It's like unstructured time. And making an effort to slow down. So even if you don't have time for leisure this month, maybe September is a very busy month and you're just like, I don't have time to chill out and have leisure time, that's okay. But see if you can consciously slow down. So you can do this when you're doing some sort of repetitive chore, like you're vacuuming, you're washing dishes or something like that. And do a little bit of a five senses check-in. So the Nine of Pentacles is all about getting into your body, getting into the now, slowing down, stopping to smell the roses. And I find the easiest way to do this is to do a five senses check-in. So just checking in and just noticing, like, what am I smelling in this moment? What am I tasting? What am I hearing? What is my sense of touch picking up? What is my sense of sight picking up? And just noticing those things. And as you do this, you come into your body, your mind quiets down, time kind of slows down, and you're more present in the moment. This is a practice that is going to be so important throughout this month. And you might not do this particular practice, maybe you have some other way of getting into your body and slowing down. But just like with the Hermit, how I said that no meaningful progress can be made this month without moving inward and connecting with that deep, ancient inner wisdom that we all have, the Nine of Pentacles gives us kind of a key as to one way to do that in a day-to-day way. So again, no meaningful progress can be made, no real epiphanies can happen if you don't slow down. It's in those moments of slowing down that you get all kinds of inspiration and energy and ideas for things. Okay. Next card, Nine of Swords. Okay, so Nine of Swords. And again, I want to emphasize that these cards that I'm talking about, these cards aren't predicting what's going to happen in the month of September. These aren't predictive cards. These cards are really just highlighting the tools that you need to use this month, or the tools that are going to be most helpful for you in the month of September. So the Nine of Swords is all about managing anxiety, particularly managing your brain, your mind, when your thoughts start to really kind of spiral off in a stressful direction. So Nine of Swords is about kind of that, Nine of Swords depicts what happens when we are too identified with our minds, when we are too much in our heads and we're too identified with our intellect, and the mind just starts to kind of become very, very strong and starts to go off, and we become disconnected from our bodies, disconnected from ourself, our soul, our spirit, our emotions, and we're just totally identified with our thoughts. And that can be very stressful. That can be very anxiety producing. So the message of the Nine of Swords is, number one, don't always listen to your mind. So take what your mind tells you with a bit of a grain of salt. The mind has this way of wanting to jump into the future or go way back and rehash things from the past. The mind is rarely in the present moment. So again, this is where the Hermit and the Nine of Pentacles comes in, is really bringing yourself back down into your body. Kind of get out of your head a little bit, get more into your body, notice your emotions, feel your energy, get into the now, into the present moment. And that's going to help you kind of reshift your focus so that you're not always in your head thinking, stressing. Okay, the next card is the Nine of Cups. Now, the Nine of Cups is interesting because it portrays someone who looks very pleased with himself. And indeed, the Nine of Cups is a very good card. It's all about feeling satisfied with yourself and attaining a certain level of fulfillment and success. But you'll notice that this person is all by themselves and they have a very closed off posture. So their body language isn't great. It's like this, like that, and kind of smiling. Like it's not the best body language. There's a certain like blocked, kind of closed off posture there. So the message I get for us with the Nine of Cups is that you might experience a sense of accomplishment or self-satisfaction, something that you're proud of. But if you aren't able to share your wisdom or share what you've learned or share what you've attained or achieved, it's not going to feel as rewarding. It's that feeling of having achieved something and thinking, oh, okay, now I've achieved this thing. Now I have this thing. Now what? And the now what means now it's time to go out and share the love. Whatever it is that you've acquired or attained or learned, there's this need to become more open and share with others. And that's what's going to really feel satisfying and rewarding. There might be a temptation. There's a temptation with this card to just want to keep things to yourself. Like just almost, it's a card of a little bit of isolation. Like wanting to just stay home with your things and and just entertain yourself. But that's not going to lead to any major shifts, and that's not going to lead to a feeling of real true satisfaction. So the challenge of the Nine of Cups is to take the things you've learned, attained, achieved, and to share with others. All right, last card. Well, we're gonna pull 3 random cards in a minute, but last card that is in the nines is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is all about boundaries. So this is the boundaries card. So this month, it's going to be really important to establish boundaries and to uphold those boundaries for the most part. Boundaries can be flexible. They aren't meant to be, not all boundaries need to be super rigid, but the Nine of Wands is about getting comfortable, figuring out what your boundaries are, how you're going to set them, what you're going to do when someone crosses them. So this might mean setting boundaries at work, in business, in your relationship, with friends, with family, or even boundaries that you have with yourself. Like when I have a to-do list for the day, there's always usually one thing on that to-do list that is kind of non-negotiable. I'm like, I absolutely have to do this thing. And that's a boundary that I kind of set with myself. Okay, so boundaries are going to be important this month. Now, the other thing I want to say about the Nine of Wands is this is also a card of self-protection and the need to protect oneself. Not necessarily physically, more energetically, because the Suit of Wands is all about energy and spirit. And so boundaries often are a form of energetic protection for ourselves. We're protecting our time, we're protecting our energy in some way. And so this, again, is an important thing to tap into this month. It's going to be very important for you to protect your energy in whatever way you feel called to this month. What am I going to say? I feel like there's something else, something else that I want to add here. Okay, let's draw 3 random cards. So we spent some time looking at all the nines, which I feel kind of represent the tools that are going to be really helpful to us. Now I'm just going to randomly pull 3 cards, and these are sort of the messages for us for the month ahead, for September. Okay, so first card I have here is the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. So 7 of Pentacles. Now, 7 of Pentacles is all about patience. This is the patience card. And this is also a card of like nurturing something and tending to something with diligence and patience. And I love that there's a farmer or a gardener on this card, because this is a very useful analogy to make when I'm talking about this card. Is like, think about tending a garden. If there's some kind of project you're working on, or you have a goal, there's something you're trying to achieve or change or whatever, tending to it in this really nurturing way is going to be helpful. And so that means you're not forcing anything, you're not pushing yourself in an uncomfortable way, but you're tending your garden. You're nurturing the things that you want to grow, and you're bringing patience to it. So that is going to be helpful for you this month, is bringing that sense of patience. Again, there's a slowness to this card. It's saying, you know, growth and making things happen sometimes takes a little while, and we need to be patient. And I saw that theme with the Nine of Pentacles. We're talking about slowing down, and the Hermit also kind of about moving inward. So kind of a theme for this month. Okay, next card is Knight of Wands. All right. Okay, so Knight of Wands, just like the Seven of Pentacles was about patience, Knight of Wands is about action and speed. There is an excitement and a high energy to this card. The message of the Knight of Wands is actually pretty powerful for us, and it's saying, take action this month. This is the month, September, to take action. More importantly, to take inspired action. So action that is inspired by your real values, the things that are important to you, the things that you're really passionate about. Sometimes taking inspired action is a lot harder than taking meaningless action. Just keeping busy and doing things and checking things off the to-do list is actually sometimes a lot easier to do than taking action that's like connected to your heart's desires. So just keeping that in mind. It's going to be important this month to have a goal, or maybe multiple goals, but don't have too many. Having one thing anyhow to focus on, one thing to kind of go on a quest for, is going to be important. The Knight of Wands, this particular knight, he is really driven by having a specific quest or a goal, something that he's after. If he doesn't have that, he kind of flounders. So this is another message for us for September, is have a goal, have a focal point. And clarity comes from taking action, not inaction this month, which you might think, well, that kind of goes counter to like the Hermit, because the Hermit isn't necessarily a card of action. But no, the Hermit is telling us to make time to move inward, to kind of convene with our spirit, our soul, our wisdom, our higher self, to then take all that and take it out into the world and then take action. So these two cards kind of work together in that sense. So again, clarity for you will come from taking inspired action, not from inaction. So if you're thinking, I have to sit around and get a good idea before I can take action, it's saying you might want to start by taking some sort of action, doing something, and that's going to give you information and help you get clearer on what your next step is going to be. Okay, last card, Five of Cups. Okay, so here we have the Five of Cups for our final card. And the Five of Cups is telling you to be careful about dwelling on the things that suck, like the things you're disappointed in, the things that aren't working out, that aren't going well. Be careful about dwelling too much on that. The two upright cups behind this guy is saying all is not lost. All is not lost here. So if you're in this sort of negative state where you're thinking everything sucks, nothing's working out, everything's terrible, Five of Cups is saying, actually, that's not true. That is not true at all. And it's saying, look at the negative stuff, the stuff that frustrates you, that's upsetting to you. Don't turn away from it. It's important to be able to look at that, but focus on the good stuff. So be aware of what's not working, have a look at it, but mainly put your focus on the more positive stuff. And by positive, It could be things that are working for you. The good stuff, the stuff you're really grateful for, or the thing that you're going after, the thing you want to achieve, or the thing you want to change, something that you want to make happen. Like those are all positive things to put your focus on. And again, this is saying don't turn away from the bad stuff. It's important to look at it and to see it for what it is, but don't fixate on it. Don't totally focus on that. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap here for our month of September. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly kind of go over the cards again and just kind of say it all quickly in a nutshell for you. Okay, so we have the Hermit. That was our main major arcana card. And I feel like it, in some ways, it has the most important message of all, which is saying that making the time and the space to go inward, reconnect with your higher self, your soul, your spirit, your inner wisdom. This is so important this month. And again, you don't have to spend long periods of time meditating to do this. This might even just be a weekly practice, something you do at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, where you go inward and maybe you do a little bit of journaling. You don't have to spend a lot of time doing this, but if you want to make progress with anything, it's going to be necessary to do this in a regular sort of way. It doesn't have to be frequent, but it does need to be regular and consistent. Nine of Pentacles is saying, slow down, connect with your body. Nine of Swords is saying, don't get too identified with the mind. Beware of anxiety spirals in your mind. The more you get into your body, the more you can kind of deal with an overactive mind. Nine of Cups is saying, share your accomplishments and achievements and all the things you've learned, all the things you've gained. Sharing them with others is going to be really helpful and rewarding this month. Nine of Wands, prioritize boundaries. Boundaries also going to be important. Seven of Pentacles, nurture what's important to you. Be patient. Knight of Wands, have a goal. Take action this month. This isn't a month to sit on your laurels, even though some of the cards kind of suggest that. I get that, like the Hermit. Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, even Nine of Cups. I mean, these aren't super active cards, but the Knight of Wands is saying, no, this month is a month for action. It's not the kind of action where you're like constantly busy and taking action every single day. You might just have a day or a moment where you take a big action this month. But definitely this is a month of taking action on the things that inspire you and the things that are important to you. Five of Cups is saying, sure, there's some bad stuff. Don't get overly fixated on it because all is not lost. So lots of nice messages for us. There's lots to work with here. So I really hope that you found this reading helpful. Let me know in the comments what you thought and let me know what aspect of this reading really resonated for you. Which aspect are you really going to take and put to work in your regular life. And of course, if you have any additional comments or insights into these cards that you want to share, I also invite you to do that as well. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment and share. It really helps my channel out. So I'm wishing you all the best in the month of September.